Now, let's bring in the colored pencils. And this here is just a black colored pencil. Whenever I work with colored pencils, I like to do a lot of the detail work with black. And then kind of add in the color later. And on her eyes, let's just darken the upper lid here. Then on the outer lid, darken the outer edge and just kind of fade out. We're kind of mimicking eyelashes here. So put just some, try and avoid giving her the spider lashes. We're just darkening that. And make the pupil black. So there, the eyes are starting to come to life, and we'll just put a little bit of shadow here at the top of the iris. Okay, so let's see here. I don't really want her to be wearing much makeup, so okay, and then we'll darken the eyebrows, which these eyebrows are very thin. She plucks, this woman plucks those eyebrows. With a very light shadow on her upper lip, very light shadow on the bottom of her nose. Kind of shade it down a bit. Put a little bit of shadow underneath this lip here. The problem with colored pencils is colored pencils do not erase very well. So at this point, any mistakes I make are pretty much there. So here's hoping I don't fuck this one up. But let's... one thing about the eyebrow is that very rarely do the eyebrows actually sit right on the edge of the eye socket where it goes in. Or at least not on a woman who plucks her eyebrows. A person who lets their eyebrows just kind of grow wild, you know, like your average male, that eyebrow will be right on the edge of the socket. Kind of dip in for her cheek. Yeah. What I'm doing right here is as I'm shading the side of her face, I'm going in a little bit for the eye socket, and then I'm pulling back out for the top of the cheek, and then I pull back in a little ways for the area under her cheek, and then I come down to pretty much nothing for the chin. That shadow under her bottom lip is kind of doing weird things, isn't it? Actually, part of it might be with the shadow under the nose is not defined enough. Let's kind of put in her chin there. Let's see. It's okay, I guess. Now let's put this darker line here, kind of separate the chin from the neck, because now I need to shade her neck. I do wish that I was better at this, but hey, you get better by doing. Okay, I am going to put some slight detail into the mouth, similar to what I did with the eyes. So I am going to darken right here and right here, and then I'm going to darken the corners of the mouth here. And put a very faint shadow right there. Give her too much shadow right there, she'll look like she's growing facial hair. But well, that's looking okay. Let's work on the roots of her hair. I'm going to bring in the white area along the part a little bit more. Because when people have parted hair, you've got this little white row in there, but it's not that wide. So, da 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 da. Okay, and let's kind of curl this around. Let's perfect that curve a little bit. There we go. One thing that you want to keep in mind when going through with the black line is you want to get some variety in the line width. You do not want a solid black line. You want it to get thicker in some places where there's more shadow, and you want it to get thinner in the places where there are highlights. It simply adds visual interest to the image. Do this. Let's draw that line there. Let's kind of turn this into more of a shadow here. And this area right in here. Turn that into more of a shadow too. And let's get some line variation in here. I hope that you're enjoying watching this. Do with it what you want. If you want this to be an instructional video, then I hope that you're having fun with your own pencil and paper and following along on it. On the other hand, if you're just wanting to sit back and listen and enjoy it, then I hope that you're doing that too. There are a few hairs that are out of place. Once again, perfect imperfections. You know, a lot of times a person will actually look more attractive if you put slight flaws in there. So let's kind of go like this. The thing about hair is you don't, now once again, I'm not very good at hair, so keep that in mind with everything that I'm saying right now. When it comes to hair, you do not draw every hair. What you do is you go into the areas that are darkest and you add a few more lines there, and then the parts of the hair that are lightest, you just kind of, you avoid putting any detail at all. Let's just do that. So, let's get the line thicker here and then kind of taper it out to nothing. So you'll notice that what I'm trying to do with her hair is I'm drawing in extra lines in the shadow areas. Instead of just shading stuff in, I'm adding lines to the darker areas, and I'm leaving the lighter areas blank. You know, the light's coming straight down. Actually, with the way the shadow is hitting her nose and her mouth, the light's coming in at like this angle. So the portions of the hair that are facing up here, I'm leaving light. And then the portions of the hair that are away from that or in the shadow, I'm adding the lines to it. I'm tempted to say, if any of you guys out there have any tips for drawing hair, feel free to let me know in the comments. Feel free to talk to me about it and give some advice. What it really comes down to, though, is I just need to get some fashion books or some magazines and just study what's there. I just need to get a closer look at how hair flows and hair falls and what the current styles are. You know, hairstyles are one of those things. I couldn't tell you what I like, but I like it when I see it. It's one of those things. You know, aside from that, yeah, her hair is kind of weird looking here, but it's not so weird that I can't stand it. So let's draw the line to the top of her sweater here and just fade some lines up from that. And this will be a nice video to post to my Facebook page. Most of the videos I post in here, I don't really want to post to my Facebook page because most of my videos are very esoteric, very hermetic, very just not the kind of thing that you really want to show to everybody you know when you live just north of the Bible Belt. But this one right here would be really nice to post on my Facebook page. Just nice, friendly little drawing. This black pencil is, well, it's already gone mostly dull, but it's still got that sharp edge that keeps pulling up that I can use. A lot of being able to use these pencils for a longer period of time is to use them in a way to where, yes, you're wearing them down, but you're also creating a sharp edge, and then you can just rotate it around to the sharp edge when it comes time. And you do that, you can keep using a pencil a lot longer than you normally could. This. I am trying to decide what to do about this here. Okay. But yeah, I think that's probably one of the reasons why my YouTube channel doesn't have more of a following than it does, is because I don't feel comfortable just posting a lot of the subject matter out on my standard page. You know, I've got some friends that I can show that stuff to. I'm really happy with the card series that I'm doing. I'm doing a series of videos called Divinations that is basically like online oracle cards. That I'm pretty happy with the way that series is going. Basically, it's just a bunch of videos that all look nearly identical on the thumbnail and most of the intro. But what you do is you click on the one that is kind of demanding your attention at the time, and whichever one you pick, that kind of tells you your fortune. It's like an online oracle card, and they've been fun to do because what I do before I make each one is I make a prayer to God to determine what the subject matter will be. It's a prayer to come up with the answers of what this stuff means, and then I just kind of put the video in God's hands, and I say, okay, I've made the video, you get it to whoever is supposed to see it. And I'm really happy with the way it's coming out. So far I've only got like 12 videos. My plan is to have a minimum of 52 of them. You know, it will be an online deck of oracle cards, but it's just called Divinations, and it's there on my channel. So if you feel like getting your fortune told by an online card deck, hop on there and see what it tells you. One thing I will warn you about the series, though, is because I'm kind of putting it in the hands of God what the subject matter will be, not all of the subject matter is pleasant. The card system is designed to tell you when you're fucking up. It's also designed to make you feel loved and make you feel like you can do something about this. But at the same time, it's meant to tell you when something's going wrong. It's not just there to blow smoke up your ass and and make you feel like everything's fine and hunky-dory even when it's not. So the whole gist of the Divinations videos is they're done from a positive mindset. They're done from the idea of empowering you to take your fate into your own hands and do what needs to be done, and give you some idea of what needs to be done if you don't already know. That is one of the things, is you are supposed to follow your own heart through it. That's how they work, is your heart, your intuition leads you through the process. And they are built from a positive point of view. It's I consider myself to be a very positive person. The goal with them is to empower you and help you build a better life for yourself. But at the same time, the intention behind the cards is, if you're doing something really wrong, the cards are intended to tell you about that. But like I said, I'm only about 12 cards in right now, and my goal is to have a minimum of 52. And once again, I'm referring to each video as a card. It's a series of videos here on my YouTube channel. Darken that line. Darken those lines. Let's darken that and lighten up here. But anyway, yeah, for those of you who are watching this, I think I am going to post this video on my YouTube, or on my Facebook page rather. If you think that those oracle cards might be up your alley, if you like the idea of hopping on there and having a series of videos tell you your fortune, then feel free to hop on there. I hope that you have fun. I am not quite certain how I'm going to do this. Probably should have drawn her with an arm coming up. I can imagine her like holding a book right here, and there'd be a hand, but at this point it's kind of too late for me to add that in. So let's do that. Take a look at this in the lens and see how it looks so far. Once again, horrible with hair. Horrible with hair. Her hair looks like globs of Play-Doh or something. But, yeah, I'm not unhappy with it. Let's see here. Yeah, the sweater will be... Well, the shading on her sweater looks okay. You can hardly see the shading, but I think she needs a little bit of shading right there. Let's see how that looks. Very light. I can't even see it on the camera, it's so light, but I can see it in person, and it appears to be an improvement in person. So let's do this. Let's darken the bottom of her lower lip. Anyway, what I was getting at earlier is, yeah, I'm going to go on ahead and post this to my Facebook page, even though I've spent quite a bit of time talking about the divinations videos. And if you like the idea of it, go there, check them out. If you don't like the idea of it, don't.